So we've invited a number of panelists. The first panelist we've got is Mr. Lehlapa, who's going to give us a perspective from Mount Fletcher, where he's from. And he'll give us a perspective as somebody that is an emerging farmer that is struggling and succeeding in areas that hopefully will provide guidance to others. But before we ask him to give us the success stories and to tell us the challenges, maybe let's start off with just an introduction about who you are, how you got into the industry, and who inspired you, and who inspires you today.
Thanks. Thank you much. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Although all the faces that I'm seeing are all new, except one person that I saw some few months ago. I do for. Then all other faces are new. There's no familiar face that I'm seeing. But I think it's good that you are all here today. My name is Kgotso Lehlapa. My surname is Lehlapa. Kgotso Lehlapa, but anyone else can call me Kgotso. Kgotso means peace, but Kgotso means be satisfied. Yes. No, I'm a village, a young man in a village called Mahwasing. Mahwasing is a village there in Mount Fletcher, in Elundini local municipality, under the traditional authority of Chief Lehana, Chief of Pakwa there in Mount Fletcher. But unfortunately, I'm not belonging to the tribal family. Actually, I'm a wool farmer. And as a wool farmer, I'm also the coordinator of Mount Fletcher Wool Growers Association. I'm not elected person into a structure, but since 2018, then I've been working with farmers in Mount Fletcher, maybe because of my interest. Then every 3 years, they don't elect me, they just say also continue doing a coordination for us, and which is the work that I'm doing very well for them, and also we're working very well. There's nothing per se that I would say has attracted me into sheep there, but in recent years, then the attraction then is there, because I started to buy sheep in 2009. With my bonus, I started to work in 2009 with my whole bonus, and I used it to buy sheep in 2009. Then there was no critical reason that influenced me then to buy sheep, but generally in the village, because the livestock in the village then is source of dignity, and also currently I see it as a source of wealth and also a livelihood. But then it was not like that. I just did that because everybody else in the area of Mount Fletcher, particularly in the area of Betania, up there, Zana, Tokwana, the whole area, Tabas, then all people up there, they are rearing sheep. Then before, the sheep that people had in our area, it was not sheep for wool. It was the ordinary sheep that they used to slaughter, particularly they use slaughter for traditional activities. Mostly now they are being used for producing wool. That is why I'm saying then I had no interest. I was just doing what is being done by everybody else, particularly men in the village. But now I'm having keen interest and challenging everybody and encouraging everybody else who's growing up with males and females to take opportunity of rearing livestock, particularly sheep, or wool production, because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money. Then, as I'm saying, for example, we're organized as association. We're an association of individuals that are not just structurally at district, where we're calling ourselves as Mount Fletcher Wool Growers Association. But from the sharing sheds, where mostly find that 3 or 2 villages, they have a shed where they come together and share their sheep, particularly from September up to late November. So I think that is the production. But basically, I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to be at school today. But,
what do you think?
I've been teaching maths.
How does maths help you in this industry?
So maths doesn't help me. Let me be honest. Maths doesn't help me, and there's nothing of maths that I can say I'm using that is helping me in the fight. I think I was inspired by my principal then, Mr. Makhabane, to be a teacher. Then I became a teacher because he was good in maths, and I also knew I was a teacher, then I was show maths. Then that is the case. But for livelihood and industry, there's nothing of maths kind that I'm using.
Some of us will definitely go there, but it's fine. Maybe just talk us about who inspires you today in the industry? Is there any figurehead, any mentor, anybody that you look up to that says, okay, I want to learn from this person?
There's 2 gentlemen that are inspiring me. It's the man called Mr. Malaki Fule. Mr. Malaki Fule is an illiterate guy who didn't go to school. But he's owning more than 400 sheep. Then he's sourcing his livelihood by sharing together in a shed called the Ukwanang Group Scheme. Then he inspired me. And everybody else in the village, I think they are getting inspired by him. Because if he has never went to work, then his family is solely depending on wool production, and he's doing very, very well. That is why for them, basically, wool production is a livelihood. But for me, it's not livelihood, it's a secondary source of livelihood. As I'm saying, I'm employed permanently by the government, but I'm using this as another supplementary income for me, which is doing well for me.
We appreciate this.
Then the second one who is inspiring me is Mr. Makhabane, the junior Makhabane, not the principal that I'm talking about. Then he is a teacher, but his qualifications are basically in agriculture. Maybe because he didn't get a job in agriculture, decided to go and teach. Then the one who inspired a lot of us, and because of the community work that he is doing, because it's helping everybody else in the village, including the farmers in this area and also the farmers around Mount Fletcher and also cross-border in Lesotho and South Africa.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So we know that 10 years from now, there'll be entrepreneurs who will be inspired by you.
Yes.
So you've got like a history of teachers in your village, and we know that over 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you're laying the basis for entrepreneurial pursuits. So I just want you to know that. So people will be latching onto you and you will be inspiring them. And that's also what we want to do across the whole province, is be an inspiration to others that follow us. You know, we call the home of the legends. Just like your teachers and your principals were legends to you, we're also trying to inspire you to inspire others as well. And ECRDA is wanting to ignite in the agricultural space all of the sort of agricultural legends of which we see you. That's why we invited you to today's session.
Yes.
Just talk to us a little bit more about some of the success stories that you are part of in terms of your Mount Fletcher Association.
Then I think there are a lot of success stories. Then the basic one, in the industry of sheep livestock there in our area, is the abolition of stock theft. Okay. I know everybody else, everywhere else, is a serious problem. But as the community in Mount Fletcher will not be where we are if in our area there was still a rife stock theft. Let me make an example. For example, when I was growing up, then we were staying there up on the Drakensberg Mountain at what we called in Gesikosa, they call it imitibo. When you wake up in the morning, 50, 60, 90 cattle of one man would be gone by that night, stolen by our brothers and sisters from the Soto side. But as we speak today, there is none of such kind where Basotho from that side then are stealing from us on this side of the mountain. And because of the man called Napoleon Lehlapa, but it's no more now. Then the one that I'm saying is Mr. Makhabane, is the coordinator, for example, of what we call a peace committee between Lesotho and South Africa. Then we are working together there jointly to make sure that there is no stock theft then across the border there in manufacture area between Lesotho and South Africa. Because then it was very, very serious, and there were nobody else who was interested now to rear cattle, to rear sheep or goods. But because of that success, that the people that are involved in wool production, they organize themselves, they jointly work together. For example, every year, then currently by on the 16th of November, they will be having a meeting between Basotho and us at this side from South Africa. That for me is a success story that influenced the good stories that I'm going to share with you just now. For example, lately in 2018, I think we met with some guys that I'm not seeing one of them here from ECRDA in 2019, and also Mr. Diamond. And we met there because we're moving across the province, wanting to meet with anybody else who can help us. As a manufacturer of 55 sharing shares in 2018, were any income of around 18 million rands in 2018. Then in 2022, 2021, 2022 sharing season, we earned about 22 million rands in 2022, 22 million rands. Then as we speak today, is a shock even to ourselves, because we have managed for the sharing season of 2022-2023 to earn income of about 32 million rands. That's an income, an increment of about 10 million rands, just within a year. Then that thing is not just happening as a miracle, but the solidarity of collaboration, the collaboration that we're having, and also the partnerships that we have managed to establish between government and other government stakeholders, such as Department of Agriculture, municipality, and also specifically the ECRDA, because they have contributed significantly to the success of income that we have managed to generate within a 1 year, that we can be able to get an increment of about 10 million rand. For us, it's very good and it's exciting, and it's giving us a hope. The other success that I would say is very impactful, influencing this the amounts of income that we are receiving as communal farmers there, is the structural stability that we are having, basically from the sharing sheds to our own organization in the district there in Manflesh. Then the stability, for example, we are having a man called Mr. Sepan Sonanyana, who is our chairperson, and Mohair who is our secretary, is a male and female. They have been there for so long as our leaders. So we are saying they are contributing successfully because of this stability that they are bringing within the organization. Because even at sharing shed level, we find that most of the secretaries are women in the sharing sheds. As for example, the secretary of our structure is Mohair. So that stability of the same people being given a long time to lead us as individual farmers, that thing is very, very, very important for us. I think it's a success story because everybody else can learn that if these individual farmers from their household coming together into a shed with the same vision, organizing them together again in the area. The same principles that they are applying in their sharing shares be the same principle that they are applying at the district level, with the people that are having a vision of considering a sheep rearing as a business, not as something that if we have 50 sheep, you say, oh, this is a man or this is a good woman in the village, but a livelihood. Because there's very few of us who are permanently employees of the state who are participating there, but 95% are unemployed men and women. Some of them, they were working in mines before. Then, you know, mines, they don't wait up until you reach 65 or 60 to retire. But at 50s, then your energy now is gone. They put you back home. So those people now, they are deriving their livelihood solely from wool production. So then for us, that is very, very, very important, and it's making an impact as we speak. Now, there is something that we are missing sometimes in the industry. Then we call it a winning rate. Where, for example, your 50 sheep, you mate at 50. Because of everything else, climate conditions, drought, disease, you find that you will mate 50, you lamb that 50, you will end up maybe winning 15 lambs. But with this collaboration that I'm talking about now between private sector, government, and us as communal farmers, then we are starting to see winning rate increasing. That means the number of lambs that we're keeping up until we share them, that is increasing. I think that is the reason why there's this significant of increment in terms of income. Even the technical support, it may be seen as something that is not a success story. But imagine a maths teacher like myself, who living permanently in a village. I'm one of very, very few people who live permanently in a village. I think in my village here, there are about 280 households. There's only 2 guys who stay there. It's myself and the other guy who's a nurse.
Where are the others? What do they do?
They are all over in big city.
I look at that, and I just want to bring it home for those that are not familiar with the village.
They're all over in big cities. But the opportunity that I'm saying, I was not seeing it there, but I'm seeing it now, that then the wool industry, with a collaboration of experts and the commitment of those that are able to make the sector to be conducive and attractive to everybody else to come in to assist. I think it's very, very important. Let me make an example here before, maybe if I'm not now moving away from your main question, because we're talking about.
No, we're just exploring. We're trying to stimulate and inspire other people.
There are things that we absolutely blank. And as long as we are not going to collaborate with other people, as communal farmers will remain blank, and that blankness will be a disadvantage for us. There is this sustainable Cape Bulls, the Cape Bull sustainable standards, which are the standards for everybody else, between commercial farmers, emerging farmers, and communal farmers like ourselves. We are expected then to fall under the same standards. Imagine I'm using Kral with smaller communal land, no offense, everybody else. If maybe your sheep on the other side, they have a sheep scam, definitely because we're using the same area, the belt. Then my sheep, even if I'm treating them well, they're going to get infected. But with this example of a sustainable standard that I'm talking about, we're not aware of that before. Then it was only after we met ECRDA, Department of Agriculture, but specifically the provincial structures or people, where they have managed to seek around together with local municipality, local municipality, and we're very thankful for them. Specifically, those are the most people that are very important to us, more than even more than the ECRDA for now.
No, it's fine. Before you carry on, I just want to give the audience a sense of your vision. So you spoke about moving from 18 million to 22 million to 32 million.
13 million, that's near 10 million. Yes.
Where do you think you'll be by 2030? Just give us your base case scenario. How many millions?
You know, if I was convinced, I would say in 2010, because I'm not convinced yet, I would say why I'm not convinced. If I was convinced, I would say by 2010, the revenue that we're generating would have maybe tripled by 2010. And not just tripled in terms of income, but in terms of job creation there in manufacturing and holistically in ECRDA.
So let's slow down. That's why I want people to get this picture. So we're talking about tripling. So it's from 30 million to 90 million, right? Just picture that. So you're going from 18 to 22 to 32 to 90 million, right? That's, you say even with that, you may have some challenges that you need to overcome, and you're not fully convinced yet. That's fine. We're gonna be walking that journey just now. What does it mean in terms of jobs? How many jobs do you have now, and what jobs do you think you'll have by 2030? If you have 90 million.
Let me just make a concrete example, not concrete evidence. Then every sharing shed during sharing season, in our area, we have about 55 sharing sheds. Then each shed during sharing season, it employs about 16 employees. Then most of them find that 10 are sharers. Then 6 are wool classers. It's a job creation that is being created every season by every farmer who is producing wool. But I'm definitely sure that people are not aware of that job creation that is happening directly in our village. Although in terms of income, it's a very small amount that contribute as a payment to a classer and also to a sharer. Now, why do I say by 2030 from now, we can try to an income generation of about 90 million? Why do I say that? Then if we take some aspects of value addition in wool, we can be able to achieve that. In South Africa, for example, we are about individuals of 62 million individuals that are living in South Africa. But here in the room, for example, how many of us, everything that we are wearing is produced here in the country?
No, we know the answer to that.
Now, if as this 32 million individuals is a serious market, we have a processing plant in Port Elizabeth. It is declining. I'm not sure if it's still operating. To scour wool. And find that 90% of wool that South Africa is producing, both from commercial and communal farmers, is exported as raw. Where? To China. And in China now, we are getting imports of what we are wearing, everything that we are wearing from China. Even the big brands that we like so much, their linen is from China. It's from China. Now imagine as this population of 62 million, then if with small energy and dedication from the government first, let me emphasize that, from the government first, because it is only the government who can create a conducive environment for investors to come to invest. That's only government who can create that conducive environment. It's nobody else. Now, if the wool, the communal wool that we're producing in Eastern Cape, we can come together with assistance of the government, have a plan as we're intending to have it, for example, in Manflex, scour wool there, process it. From scouring, the scoured wool, we can also sell it to the countries that they want to eat as a scoured wool. After it has been processed again, we can decide to sell the processed material anywhere else that we want to. And again, with those processed products, we can manufacture them. Where? Here in our communal areas. Then with such, then is where I'm saying in near future, we can be able to ensure that the revenue generation in the industry is tripled, and more than that. And now just let me finish to this point. Now you can see, as I'm taking it now, the communal farmers themselves, they are not only now going to get income from wool specifically only. Then if we add the value, the income of the scoured wool, if they are participating as shareholders through cooperatives, they can add. And also, if they are participating as shareholders again in manufacturing, they can add. Simple as that.
So again, the reason why I'm doing it, I'm also a futurist on the side as well. So I want to invite everybody into your dream, and I want to make this dream a reality so that ECRDA can see and partner with you in the dream. Government can partner with you, whether it's the local municipality, whether it's ECRDA, whether it's private sector. But we first need to be ignited by the dream. So we see the 90 million. How many sheep are we talking about?
For us, specifically as manufacturers, this 55 shilling shares, then we shown in 2022 102,000. Yes.
And by 2030, how many sheep do you think you'll have? Best case scenario, again with the 90 million.
I'm not that optimistic in terms of the increment. Why do I say I'm not that optimistic? There's a climate change that is facing us. There's a climate change is facing us. There's a drought, serious drought. Then if there's no serious drought, there's a lot of floods. You see, both of the scenarios, they affect the rearing of livestock, we like it or not. That is why now the area that is much, much important in the province, specifically as we have vast lands in the province, we can be able to utilize those lands that we are having in this regime to produce fodder. Let me, I'm not looking down for this contribution that government projects do. Every time after droughts, I'm not saying before or during drought, after droughts, but I think it's a shortcoming that we address, although I'm not engaging on shortcomings now. They use a lot of money to buy fodder from established commercial farmers. They distribute, I just want you to listen to this point. They distribute it across the province, particularly the areas that will be very affected. If, for example, they are going to distribute 50 tons of fodder, I'm just making an example, then 50 tons. Now, those 50 tons, when they reach our local areas, they will reach us as 10 kg. 10 kg of Lucerne, you are having 200 sheep, then we are going to get 12 or 10 kg of Lucerne. Is that addressing the problem? It is not. That means buying a fodder by the department is a waste. I'm saying that is a waste. Instead of utilizing those resources to plant fodder in our area throughout summer season, where even the issue of irrigation is not going to be a problem. Because during summer, there's rain. From now, in November up to April, there's a rain. Imagine if we have planted fodder, we are just harvesting and packing, harvesting and packing. When the droughts come, then every village will say no. There's something that we can be able to take and distribute amongst ourselves.
Certainly,
Yes.
that suggestion will be taken, and again, we'll give you feedback about that. Useful suggestion. Just talk to us a bit more about, again, this dream. I'm going back to the dream. 2030, 90 million, many more jobs. You're saying the sheep more or less maybe could stay stable, but again, what other practices need to be engaged in to get the 90 million? How do you get, besides the value addition that you spoke about, what sort of learnings and changing
of the commercialization?
Sure. Okay.
Is the commercialization of a communal farm. I will still say, even 10 years to come, to say if the technical support and skills of commercial farmers, they can be translated to communal farmers in a communal area, I can be able to apply the same skill to prosper and commercialize without me going to buy a farmer somewhere else. Within the village here, with the necessary skill, necessary support, necessary know-how on sheep management, and everything else, I can commercialize directly there in my ground. That is the thinking that I'm thinking. It can help. As I'm talking, for example, I'm talking about the people that I'm mentioning now, that you go to each and every village, there are about 6 or 5 people who are really more than 400 sheep in each and every village in these 55 series that I'm talking about. They are not bothering everybody else. But during the challenging times, those people are getting affected. In our area, for example, it's snowing a lot. You see, even in terms of how do we receive information up there, then the alerts to say during this month there is potential of snow, please come down, or maybe the shelters around the airport, shelters, for example. But commercialization in a communal land is what I'm thinking can assist us to reach that dream by thinking it's possible to reach.
Any other challenges that the government or anybody else can help you with? What are your other major challenges that you're facing?
The major challenge that
at the moment,
the major challenge is the treatment of sheep scale, of which government is not, to me, as I'm observing now, is not playing a very critical role. Let me make an example. I think there is some vision that is lacking there from the side of the government, because unlike myself, where I can go anywhere in a shop and buy medication to prevent a sheep scare. But majority of women and men in communal areas, it's very challenging for them. And again, as the income of wool is the only source of income, it's challenging for them to buy this expensive medication. But, you know, long time ago, in Manfletcher area, the livestock that was being reared there was cattle. But the number of cattle now went down. But the government is still focusing in medication of making sure that there's a TB every week. But the number of sheep, they have escalated. But there's a lack then of support in terms of preventing these diseases. I think that is the major case. For example, something that is very good that we did, for example, we met there with a lady called Dr. K. He's an employee, he's a doctor, he's a vet from the Department of Agriculture. We did a virtual vet, we are calling it a virtual vet, where we formed a WhatsApp group, a big WhatsApp group in the area. Then her and I were administrators of that WhatsApp group. I'm assisting there to translate from Xhosa to English and also from Sotho to English, and she give advice together with some technicians from the Department of Agriculture. Then if my sheep is having a problem, by that time when I see it, I just describe what is happening, send it to the group. Doctor will respond, or she will go into my truck. That thing is what was not happening before. It started last year in 2022. So such the programs, small programs that are very impactful for how are we doing things in our community area.
Perfect. I want to just change sort of the gearing at the moment. I want to open up the discussion now for this segment with anyone on the floor or online.
Yeah, lastly, just
What's
something.
No problem. You just okay.
Yes. I know that you are, as South Africans now, you are obsessed with BRICS. I will use the word obsession. It's obsession that I'm seeing. But Manufacture is a global village. Manufacture is a global village. Let me just give a case of market manipulation and bullying of the global community that is being directed by China, specifically towards South Africa. In South Africa, most of the time, we'll be hearing about a foot and mouth disease. It mostly affects cattle. But when that disease emerges in South Africa, China will say, this year we're not going to buy wool from South Africa because there's a foot and mouth disease. And the market for wool will go down. I think it was in 2021 where South Africa made intervention to say, no, please, buy our wool. But immediately after that time, China has already declared that it's not going to buy wool, and the price went down. After 3 months, China bought that wool with less price. Now, then if as a global community, South Africa is a global community, Manufacture is a global village. If we establish relations with those countries that are environment friendly, unlike our friends in China, utilize this, what we call Cape Bull sustainable standards. When our share, like yesterday, then the 10 shares that in Manufacture were issuing certificate by Cape Bulls to say that was certified. Now, when you sell your wool this year in auction in Port Elizabeth, you are going to get about 13% much better income than sharing share that has not been certified. So then the certified wool now is going to attract everybody else, even the European market. It's going even to attract the European market with better income. So then if the markets like in Mohair and Kgotso, they would come in South Africa, buy directly. Because for example, in the country now, we are only selling wool through auctions. Let just give me just a minute to explain this.
No problem.
We are selling wool only through auction, of which is a disadvantage for person from one fledge to Port Elizabeth. The transportation cost, the storage costs. Let me make an example about a sharing share that is called Tigo sharing share. It's just around the town here in Manfledge. The deduction that the brokers they deduct from that insurance share in 2022, it was 105,000 rands. The money that a share of poor people gave to a broker to say, thank you so much. You have transported our wool to Port Elizabeth. You also have assisted us to sell our wool. That thing happens every year. So imagine. Now, if we can say the wool specifically now that is being certified, everybody else will not wait a market date. Will be able to come anywhere else, maybe in Tabashisha, in Tabas, to share there, to say, how much is the volume of wool? What are the classes of wool that we're producing here? Is this quality? If it is quality, you buy here from cooperative in a certain share. Now, everything else to test that wool transport is the responsibility of the buyer. You see, that is the access to market. To say access to market is a challenge. But if we can adopt with friends from everywhere else globally, to say you can also buy direct, not only sell to them in auction, because it's very, very, very expensive. Very expensive for us, and which is dealing with the income that we're generating. It's dealing with us a lot.
So thank you for that. So we're going to go straight to online. If you can just identify to that who's online and then just open up for them.
Kgotso Sele made a comment with regards to your question to Kgotso on number of sheep to be sheared to reach the targets of their 2030 income. And the comment is that the increased income is based on much more on the quality of the wool sold at auction as opposed to the quantity of the wool, which I think ties in nicely to what you're saying. Communal farmers first focus on quality animals producing quality fiber, then growing the size of the flock in relation to the quality of grazing land.
Yes, fine, no problem with that. So again, as we look at market dynamics, market price, all of the issues, demand and supply, all of those things come into place. Any other questions from the floor? So, Chairperson, I'll let you go first.
Thanks, Program Director. Thanks for the presentation and the information. At least, I think it is really opening up our minds in the framework. What's that needs to be done. But your input more focused on government. I want your finger to point on you as a team to say, firstly, what are your needs, inputs? You said 95% is ordinary people who have not been to school, and also it's people that have a background of poverty, depend solely on this market, the work that you're doing. What is it that can be done because to develop them for the future? Because also, if you want to reach that 2030, you can't keep them where they are.
Yes.
You need to empower them. Let's look on around the use of skills, knowledge, even for them to understand that that is the business that they are doing. It's not just for them to eat from the business to the mouth all the time. That's one area. The second area, you're talking of opening up machinery in your area. Do you have an investor? And how do you think that will work? And how do you think that ECRDA specifically with you can work together to mobilize investor for what you are doing? Thanks.
So let's just deal with that question, then we'll open up, because I think that question is a loaded question, Chairperson, and there are many other things that will open up as a result. So if you can just respond in your own way.
I think to first question, let me make an example in answering this question. In our side there, we have a solo agricultural college, of which when you go there, the young chaps from the whole of my area, they are absent in that college. The region, our region, Jordan, that kind of college is not there. Now the partnership now that I was talking about between we as business community in communal area producing wool, together with Department of Education. Definitely it starts with conscientizing and career channeling. Maybe with technology that we're currently bringing in, basically starting from making insurance sheds. We have micrometers, the machines that we are using to measure microns. It's a technology of some sort. It was absent there. Now, such equipment, if young people see us using it, because it needs somebody maybe who has maths, will read the numbers correctly.
No, we appreciate the honesty.
Yes. With such technical equipment we're bringing in, I think we can attract the young people And also in terms of these skills that I'm talking about, particularly sorting and classing of wool, that's a skill on its own. Then investing in that kind of skill to make sure that we are doing it correctly. And also in terms of capacity building amongst ourselves, in terms of sheep management on its own. Sheep management on its own. I think that it's very key for us as communal farmers to say we can also do that. Now, coming now to the second question of our chairman. Again, I was making an example of open to a global market. To say, as South Africa currently doesn't have a capacity to scour and to process and to manufacture. I think I'm using the wrong way when I'm saying if they don't have capacity, because capacity is there, but the means of scouring, the means of processing, the means of manufacturing are not yet collected together. That I think is the area that we can focus. Working together with the global community, with Chinese, BRICS countries, European countries, those that will be having interest to work with us, to say in these small villages that this kind of very, very important commodity is being produced. Then we lobby such people that then come on board. I remember I was making an example of awareness that me there in my village, I've made a research on livelihoods, for example. There's a study, my master's study was on rural livelihoods. It was on rural livelihoods.
You didn't tell us that you were the master's.
So specifically, wool is one, in my findings, it was one of the livelihoods that rural people in communal areas, they are earning their income as the second biggest source of income after social grants.
Yeah.
You see? So with those collaboration amongst ourselves, identify these people that are already buying raw wool to export. If we say, wait, we have this capacity as South Africa, how if we start by scouring? We don't say start by collecting all wool in Eastern Cape and scour it. We are here in manufacture physical pilot, few shared with small volume. Sure. Pilot first. Not as government alone, with these partners all over. The Norwegian people are here, the Chinese people. But I think we should not be confused to say it is much cheaper if we export the wool to China and China produce this network and bring back to South Africa. If we are doing that on our own, we can make terms and conditions that anybody else can buy, except Chinese, for example. I think that is my answer. If, I directly answered what you asked.
Again, we are just lightly exploring this commodity. So again, we're going to have follow-up discussions. This is just round one of wool and mohair as the ECRDA and the department tries to unlock, transform, redevelop the province, and redevelop areas like yourself, and sort of grow the next bunch of entrepreneurs that are going to stand on your shoulders. And when you are old and looking back, you're going to say, I never thought this was possible.